Hello everyone, welcome back to lesson 3 of our Algebra 2 series. Today we're going to be talking about solving equations. So let's jump right into it. In all of these sort of examples or problems that you're going to see, you're going to be told to solve for x. So you're just going to use your skills from Algebra 1 to solve for x. Alright, so let's begin. Our first example is going to be x plus 4.39 equals 76. All right, and now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to leave x on the left by itself. So in order to do that, we're going to have to subtract by 4.39 on both sides. All right, so our final answer is x equals 71.61. All right, and let me just box this up. And the reason that we wanted to leave x on its own is so now we know what x is, and it told us to solve for x, and that's what we did. We found out what x was, and it is 71.61. So that's basically it. It's pretty simple, but let's go on to something that's a little bit more challenging. So next up, we have, again, let's see, example, solve for x. Of course, because we're still solving equations, so you're going to want to solve for x. And for this example, it's going to be negative 3 over 5x equals 18. Okay? So now it's a little bit different than this one, because in this one, we had to use subtraction to leave x on its own. But now in this one, we're going to have to use some multiplication. So let's get started. If you guys recall, in the last video I talked about properties and inverses, and this is the multiplicative inverse that we're going to use right now. So we're going to multiply by the opposite of this. Let's see, multiply by the opposite of this number to get 1. All right, so which is basically its reciprocal. So we're going to have to do that on both sides in order for it to actually be valid. So these 5's cancel out, these 3's cancel out, and then the minus signs turn into positive right there. So now it just turns into 1x equals 18 times negative 5 over 3. And now we rarely do we ever use this 1 right here, so let me just erase that out because we never put the 1 in front. And so now we have this. And now what we're going to do is multiply these together. So 18 divided by 3 basically factors into 6. So x equals 6 times negative 5. X equals negative 30. All right, so not too bad, I hope. I hope you guys are understanding it thus far. So let's move on to something a little bit more difficult in our final example. And hopefully you guys can stay with me. So again, solve for x. I'm just going to keep on writing this so you guys know that we're solving for x in these equations. We want to leave x on its own on one side of the equal sign, and then we'll know what x is. So in our final equation, or in our final example, I should say, we're going to do 2 times 2x minus 1 minus 4 times 3x plus 1 equals 2. Okay, so it's a lot longer, but we can still do it. It's still the same process. So we're going to use the distributive property. Again, I talked about this in the last video, lesson number 2. And we're going to use the distributive property to multiply these out. So we get 4x minus 2. All right, and then distributive property again here. Right there. We're going to multiply these out. And then we get, let's use that color, times negative 12x minus 4 equals 2. All right, and now we're going to combine like terms because we're able to do that. So here we have 4x and negative 12. That turns into negative 8x. Negative 2 and negative 4 is negative 6 equals 2. Okay, and now we're just going to add 6 to both sides, so negative 8x equals 8, and then divide by 8 on both sides, and divide by negative 8 on both sides, and we get x equals negative 1. All right, so that wasn't too bad. Again, I'm going to leave you guys with a pro tip, and that pro tip would be, let's write that here, pro tip, practice. In a lot of these videos, I'm just going to be telling you to practice because, again, practice makes perfect in math. And just keep on practicing this, and I'll leave some more equations on the screen for you guys so you can try it out. And yeah, that'll be it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone. And here are the examples.